Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Cate Waruguru is calling on President William Ruto to at least raise a flag from Laikipia. And in her own words, she sounds betrayed, used, and dumped after the August 9th general election. And what exactly is happening? In this video, I want to reveal to you details why Ruto seems to have dropped Cate Waruguru. But without much ado, I want you to listen to this 19-second clip from Cate Waruguru while addressing a group of women, Akorino women, in Laikipia. And remember, this is coming amidst controversy after the brother was appointed as an MCA in Laikipia. And it really, in Isiolo, and it really brought a bit of uproar by the leaders from that area calling for that decision to be reviewed. So listen to this.
We are telling the president we love you. We gave you over 300,000 votes in Laikipia. Na ulishinda muti ya tingatinga na kura 300,000. We are asking you because it's our vote that has made you a president. Give us our dignity na utupatie bendera ndani ya Laikipia. Hata sisi tujisikie tuko serikali.
Now that is Cate Waruguru. Cate lost in the UDA nominations to Idi Amin. Alongside, she lost in the UDA nomination seeking the Laikipia East parliamentary seat to a UDA candidate. And alongside Isaac Mwaura, they were laughing stock because these were leaders that had sharpened their lips on attacking and abusing President Uhuru Kenyatta. And by then it was conveniently in order for political survival and to also show their relevance in William Ruto's presidential campaign. They were just part of the strategy. And when she lost the nominations, she protested and even threatened to dump the UDA movement. And after meeting William Ruto, Cate Waruguru will come out and say, throw shades to his critics, saying that she will be part of the 13th parliament, come what, come may. So when people went to the elections, the Laikipia East voters picked Mwangi Kiunjuri, who was vying for that seat on his the Service Party. And Mwangi Kiunjuri won against the UDA candidate. So to that extent, of course, he was elevated close to William Ruto. When the UDA nomination list came out, and I insisted, I think in one of my analysis, I insisted that someone just needed to look to the last day of gazettement to know that you are part of it. When UDA released the nomination list, the name of Cate Waruguru, the names that were gazetted by Wafula Chebukati on September 7th, Cate Waruguru was missing. And Veronica Maina was part of it, amongst Karen Nyamu was also nominated, Peristo Biko, the former Narok women rep, Soipan Tuya, amongst others. And of course, UDA really nominated women on their wing. Cate Waruguru was missing. But that to me is not that to me is not shocking. What I'm only wondering is, how many voices do you think Cate Waruguru is representing? How many voices? Because Isaac Mwaura lost the nominations. They were enjoined in the presidential campaign. And of course, they were promised. Jaguar was promised Ayala nomination. We yet to know whether that is going to be granted. And with the likes of Aisha Jumwa, also missing the Kilifi gubernatorial seat, there are a lot of women in William Ruto's camp that are now scrambling for her attention and the national cake. How is William Ruto going to handle the issue? But I want to tell you that Cate Waruguru was in another camp supporting Rigathi Gachagua. So if the nomination slots at UDA party, there are different quarters that influenced who was to make a cut in that list. Then Cate Waruguru was an appointee, was fronted by Rigathi Gachagua, because Gachagua also needed to create a camp, Mt Kenya camp, that are really loyal to him, that maybe get these positions because of his influence. I think this is more than what we are seeing. And someone can even send signals to President William Ruto on what exactly is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say that when Mwangi Kiunjuri won that parliamentary seat, Mwangi Kiunjuri got the attention of President William Ruto, and Ruto shifted the focus on working with Cate Waruguru, but with Mwangi Kiunjuri. I'm going to tell you why. Because now, apart from the governor, one of the most senior politicians who was in the caliber of even becoming a governor of Laikipia is Mwangi Kiunjuri. Mwangi Kiunjuri is a seasoned politician who, before he was interdicted by President Uhuru Kenyatta from the cabinet, he was amongst potential running mates for William Ruto. And William Ruto knows that in Mwangi Kiunjuri is a very powerful person. So because Mwangi won that seat, I think the stakes became high on his end, and the president decided that, look here, I need to work with Mwangi Kiunjuri. And most probably, I think Ruto has found a way to shortchange Cate Waruguru. Because some of these politicians, I want to repeat, were only there for the politics of the moment. It was never on their own that they are fighting for the hustlers, on the hustler movement platform. But they were there for their own interests and the politics consumed by the politics of the moment. Cate Waruguru is talking about 300,000 votes from Laikipia. I don't know if that's the truth. But don't you see that she's just representing a voice from the mountain, and might be she's been sent from different quarters on representation, or rather to bring a question of what is the stake of Mt Kenya in UDA government. I don't think it's Kenya Kwanza, it's UDA. There are people who may be around President William Ruto that are simply trying to bring a conversation on what is the stake. Because if they're talking about 300,000, what do you think Nyeri will say next time? What do you think Meru is coming to rise about? What about Murang'a? And what about Kiambu? And if they give 300,000 and they need a position, so what about Kiambu? Now, it means the conversation about the Kenya Kwanza, Mount Kenya representation might be, narrative might be guided by the number of support, the number of votes that they injected in the presidential ballot. And someone is simply driving a narrative. What Mount Kenya leaders were promised positions, and it was to get votes. I insist it was to get votes. And because they've already known that interest, sometimes politicians need the godfather, UDA party was just the godfather. But that was not their party. So what about the regional balance? That video is in a tweet, and people are asking, if Laikipia is saying they gave these votes, what about other areas? Where does that put it? Ruto, I want to say that categorically, can ignore Cate Waruguru for one reason: trust deficit. I think this is a leader who, immediately after the handshake, instead of political positioning, shortly she was with William Ruto. Before no one knew, she was meeting Raila Odinga at Raila Odinga's office in Upper Hill. Then she had a short stint, actually 1 year stint, in on President Uhuru's side, supporting BBI a bit. Then crossed over the other side of Kenya Kwanza, and then started attacking the other leaders on this other side. And as I say, politicians and a leader in the caliber of William Ruto has been in the Kenyan politics for some time, since 1992, and that is why I don't appreciate when he says he's not a dynasty. Actually, he's a dynasty. He's been here for quite some time. Or maybe if there is another meaning of a dynasty, but I think William Ruto is a dynasty. So, and he understands the personality of that politician. What is the guarantee that she's going to stand, she's going to be on the side of William Ruto to the end? There was a trust deficit on her end. But these nomination slots, it was also a bit impractical to hand over a majority of the nomination slots to Mt Kenya. Remember, the area that was most affected is Mt Kenya, where people who lost wanted these positions. Cate Waruguru lost. There is a woman. There are a lot of other people who lost seats who are Jubilee aspirants. In Meru, there was the NCJC who also wanted, and quite a number of them. So there was no way that all these nominations, the majority of these nomination slots would go to Mt Kenya. Already they had Veronica Maina, they already had Karen Nyamu, and you can add the list. And so I also felt that UDA found themselves between a rock and a hard place. And maybe Cate Waruguru has been shortchanged. And what do you think about Cate's issue?